Hello, I'm Jackie Jones of Jones & Associates Law PC, and today I am talking about what happens when the side chick gets pregnant and you are not Carmelo Anthony. Let's get right into it. And they have been talking about Carmelo Anthony's love child. That's what they used to call the bastard baby born when you were married to someone else. Well, apparently Lala Anthony, his wife, wrote something on Instagram about what a great father Carmelo Anthony was to their 12-year-old son. I think that's great because they had been apparently going through a very messy breakup for quite a while. And Twitter got all excited talking about this baby girl that he had over a year ago with his then mistress, apparently. Now, as a divorce lawyer, I think it's really important for me to tell you a couple of things. First and foremost, if your mistress, girlfriend, other woman, chick off the street, be on the side, whatever, gets pregnant, number one, don't let your wife find out from someone else. Okay, you know what? Let me reel it back. Number zero. Don't get her pregnant. Like, if you're going to cheat, use a condom. Like 100%, if you're going to cheat, use a condom. Like, I don't know how I can stress that enough, because when it comes to divorce, actual evidence of your cheating, meaning a baby, those are really, really hard to forgive and really hard to get over in a regular general divorce situation. But we're going to move forward, and let's say you have made that colossal mistake, and it is a colossal mistake. Do not let your wife find out that there is another child from someone else. It won't go well. It won't go well at all. Okay, now let's say you're in a situation where you have this other child. Maybe you want to stay in the marriage. I don't know. If you want to stay in the marriage, you're going to have to really, really work at this. You're going to have to work at this. You are going to have to make it up to the wife. Now, why do I say this? Because generally, if someone is divorcing you for means of adultery, if they don't come back to you after they find out about the adultery can be grounds for that divorce. But if they come back to you and they've forgiven you, we call that condonation, big word, this affair, this action, then they don't get to claim the adultery necessarily as the grounds for the divorce if they decide to do it a year or 2 years or whatever down the road. So if you get back together after your wife discovers that you have had this other child, that is going to make a difference in whether or not the divorce and what happens with it and all that sort of thing. But rest assured, there's a lot of other things going on, because of course, if you did get the side chick pregnant, there are other things that come into play, because right now you suddenly have a new financial obligation that interferes with your primary family. So you have to keep in mind that this woman can take you to court for child support. Why do I say that? Because I had a case years ago where the wife did not know about the baby, and the ex-mistress, she made sure to make his life a living hell. And I mean, she would do things like send pizzas to his house. Yes, childlike stuff. But for the longest time, she could blackmail him because she knew his wife didn't know. So she could ask for whatever she wanted, and he was going to give her whatever she wanted because he did not want his wife to know about it. But she found out. And so it does not go well if your wife finds out because someone else tells her. Or like the one recently where you paid for his lawyer and your wife saw the letter. So, like, y'all messy, man. Y'all are messy. And the stuff that you do in these situations are messy, 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 messy. Don't let your wife find out the wrong way. Now, you then have these other financial obligations, and you have to consider that you have a primary household that you have to support, but you could have a portion of your income that now has to go to this other family. And that goes on for a lot of years. So, think about what this means for your wife, who is used to a certain standard of income and support for her and your primary children, and now a good chunk of your money could be taken to go towards this other child. Issues. Now, of course, as a woman, as a mother, as a human being who advocates for children, there are some things to decide, like what sort of relationship you're going to have with this child. You can absolutely go to court and ask for some kind of custodial relationship, some kind of custody of this child. But if you're going to stay in your marriage, you have to make sure your wife is on board, because you cannot take a child into a situation where they're going to be mistreated because of your infidelities. I'm going to get to that in part 3 when I'm talking to the wives. But so very important that you have to remember, you're not a famous NBA star. When you're not a famous NBA star, that means you don't have almost unlimited money to do the kind of stuff you want to do. That means you can't be breaking off the side piece and taking care of things at home. You're not built like that. Take it back to point 0. Use the condoms, buddy. Use the condoms. So this whole situation with Carmelo Anthony has been interesting because, you know, Twitter has a lot to say, and Twitter thinks they can say whatever they want about people's relationship. But this is an actual child, and children, because there is a child with his wife, that have to deal with these awful, awful situations. And as a divorce attorney, it does not have to mean the end of your marriage that you've done this. I know, I've seen some things, but it could mean the end of your marriage. And if it's going to mean the end of your marriage, there are some things you have to think about, like how much income do I have to split between these now 2 sets of families do I have? Who gets to keep the home? What happens with my retirement accounts? What happens with my assets that I share with my wife? Are the assets that I share with my wife available for the support of this new child? Those are all things that are going to come into play, and you want to talk to a lawyer as soon as possible. In fact, for the most part, I don't think you should be out there trying to figure this out on your own. You 100% need a good attorney. So for all of you who have gotten it twisted and think that you are an NBA star and that you can be dropping babies on your wife, just to let you know, 1, you are not Carmelo Anthony. You don't have money for that. 2, don't let your wife find out the hard way. Tell her the truth. 3, remember, you do still have a right to have some sort of custody of this child, even though they were born out of wedlock. And so as Twitter goes all aflutter about what Carmelo and Lala and the side piece are doing, remember that in the real world, this is not a Twitter joke. This is not about fun and games. You need to be prepared for the mistakes that you make, and you need to fix them, because there are real actual children involved. So today I am Jackie Jones of Jones & Associates Law, PC, part 1 of 3 of When the Side Chick Gets Pregnant. You have a great day.